Yesterday, Apple TV announced that they are indefinitely postponing the release of a new limited TV series called The Savant. And we talked about this series a couple of weeks ago when it was getting promoted and the trailer dropped. Let me just break it down for you if you haven't caught up. This show is starring Jessica Chastain, playing essentially a suburban leftist Karen who moonlights as a spy on online right-wing extremist forums in order to capture terror plots from the right wing specifically. And this is based on a real person. She was interviewed in a Cosmopolitan article years ago. And what I guess Apple doesn't want you to know is that the first terrorist that real Savant actually caught in real life, that is a Muslim terrorist, and you are not going to see that in the Apple version.
That was literally never going to happen.
You are never going to see that in the Apple TV series. But here was their statement yesterday. After careful consideration, we have made the decision to postpone The Savant. We appreciate your understanding and look forward to releasing the series at a future date, which has still not been set. And it's because, obviously, the entire premise of the show flies in the face of the reality we are living in, especially following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And allegedly, the shooting at an ICE facility earlier today.
Yeah.
So this show, when it was first announced, prompted a deluge of memes of Jessica Chastain staring at a blue computer screen in her office at home with her glasses, her gigantic glasses. And there were captions like, do you have this meme? Why is everyone talking about returning their shopping carts at the grocery store? Essentially, this is a middle-aged suburban mom trolling through 4chan threads and right-wing Twitter, trying to corner the most dangerous young men in the country who've been radicalized into violence and hate crimes.
Of course.
Here were some of the responses to the news of this show getting pulled. How much do you want to bet the show had a Charlie Kirk character as its main villain? Now, Thank you
guys.
I don't think that was actually part of the script.
Probably not.
But they would probably come up with a fictional version of a lot of right-wing podcasters or online voices that are idolized by the extremists she is targeting.
Correct.
Right? And maybe one of them had a resemblance to Charlie Kirk somehow. Another reply said, release the show as is. It's important for people to see the propaganda messaging that was going to be prior to reality messing with the plan. And I wonder if they are taking a pause to go back and change the script, do some deceptive editing about the plot.
No, I bet you they'll just postpone and release later.
Mm-hmm. Jessica Chastain has also responded to the news herself.
Yes.
And she says in this tweet, I want to say how much I value my partnership with Apple. They've been incredible collaborators and I respect their team. That said, I wanted to reach out and let you know that we are not aligned on the decision to pause the release of The Savant. In the last 5 years since we've been making the show. 5 years for 8 episodes, bitch. 5 years for 8 episodes. That's the part that stood out to me. Sorry.
Stranger Things is like, those are rookie numbers.
That's
you need
crazy.
to get those numbers up.
In the last 5 years since we've been making the show, we've seen an unfortunate amount of violence in the United States.
I'm sorry, but boomer television supremacy. 9 months out of the year, 22 episodes.
Bring it back.
Every time.
The kidnapping attempt on Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, the January 6th attack on the Capitol, the assassination attempt on President Trump, the political assassinations of Democratic representatives in Minnesota, the attack on Speaker Pelosi's husband, the assassination of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, the recent shooting at an ABC affiliate station in California, and over 300 school shootings across the country. These incidents, though far from encompassing the full range of violence witnessed in the United States, illustrate a broader mindset that crosses the political spectrum and must be confronted. I've never shied away from difficult subjects, and while I wish this show wasn't so relevant, unfortunately it is. The Savant is about the heroes who work every day to stop violence before it happens, and honoring their courage feels more urgent than ever. While I respect Apple's decision to pause the release for now, I remain hopeful the show will reach audiences soon. Until then, I'm wishing safety and strength for everyone, and I'll let you know if and when the Savant is released. So that last part kind of suggests she's not sure they're going to put it out at all, but
wait for season 2, coming just about the end of J.D. Vance's first term.
Here's the problem, though. She's saying these incidents of violence illustrate a mindset that crosses the political spectrum and must be confronted. I believe she is talking about extremist mindsets.
I noticed she didn't mention Brett Kavanaugh getting attacked. I noticed she didn't mention the riots that went on during Kavanaugh's.
Of course. Nothing that happened in 2020.
Nothing of enunciation.
But she's not addressing the fact that the show, The Savant, by all appearances from the promotional materials and the explanations, doesn't cover left-wing or Islamic terrorism at all. The entire thing is focused on right-wing extremism. And even a favorable review of the series will tell you that. One that was posted in Variety today, actually, saying that they disagree, saying Apple is making a huge mistake postponing the Savant in wake of Charlie Kirk's killing.
This article is hilarious.
So here is an author who watched the series already. It's clear that The Savant is precisely the type of show America needs right now. It looks at a sector of mostly white male individuals who believe that America belongs to them. Fueled by hate, bigotry, xenophobia, and misogyny, they talk cruelly and candidly online about enacting harm and violence toward individuals or others who they feel are unworthy of being in their country. Nowhere in the show does it mention Donald Trump's name, and other than depicting white nationalists in a negative light, The Savant is a straightforward, non-controversial character study and a well-paced thriller about one woman trying to stop domestic terrorism. So only someone coming from the extreme left perspective could say this is a non-controversial, straightforward thriller show, because here you admitted all of the terrorism she's stopping in the show is from radical right-wing bigots and white nationalists. None of the realistic threats that are being made. None of the threats that align with the examples Jessica Chastain laid out, right?
Even, I mean, there's even a bit of deceptiveness. Remember the Minnesota, the incident in Minnesota that was like a former employee of Tim Walz who thought he was like doing it for Tim Walz's benefit, right?
So unless the fictional modern day Savant character in the show is infiltrating Discord servers full of trans people who are trying to groom children and encourage violence against the cis, I don't want to hear that it's non-controversial and straightforward and unbiased. It's very clearly biased in the leftward direction.
And again, this I
wouldn't have been made otherwise.
I point this out on IRL all the time, which is that there is the greatest tool that the media has to prevent the average everyday person who isn't political brained from learning about any of this stuff. It isn't even to lie. It's to just not talk about it. It's to just ignore the growing number of examples. Like literally, I showed it while you were explaining it earlier, but it's literally this meme. It's like, on my way to have a minor disagreement with a liberal. Say what you want about it, but they won't talk about it. Like I said, their greatest tool is to just not discuss the things that counter their narrative. They even did this on Jimmy Kimmel last night. For all the talk of free speech that they have, there was nothing about Google and YouTube and the Biden administration, which, if they were being intellectually honest about their so-called very, very recent turn to becoming free speech warriors, that would have come up as well. And you know what? Conservatives would have given them kudos for it. They would have said, look, thank you. Thank you for calling attention to both sides of this issue. Because you know what? I don't know if Trump and Brendan Carr and the FCC played a role in Kimmel. You know, the revolt from Nexstar and Sinclair certainly doesn't seem to point that way. But I'm willing to hear you out. And you're more willing to hear someone out when they will present an argument that proves that these are not one-sided issues.
Literally the same day.
But all the
or
political
the day
violence that we are
before.
seeing right now, especially in just the last couple of weeks, there's like Matt Walsh had a tweet today that was like, there have been 4 examples of left-wing political violence in just the last couple of weeks. Okay? It's intellectually dishonest to pretend like it is just white, straight men who have a problem with people being in their country against their will.
Literally the same day or the day before Jimmy Kimmel's return monologue, Google admitted openly that under pressure from the Biden administration, they were banning YouTube channels who were speaking out of turn on matters related to COVID-19 and elections. So if Jimmy Kimmel wants to be a free speech warrior, why would he not address that?
Look, it's not even that high of a bar. Bill Maher would. Bill Maher still has plenty of issues with the right, but he's willing to at least engage in conversations with people on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah, like that conversation that Bill Maher had with Zachary Levi. When they were talking about vaccines. But yeah, this opinion piece went further and said, it seems that Apple TV is cowering to a presidential administration that appears to be more concerned with its own dialogue and viewpoints.
That
is a Savant.
That is just a huge claim to make.
I mean, it's the same claim they made in another headline about The View. The View not commenting on Jimmy Kimmel proves Trump is winning his war on the press.
Like, they just throw that shit in there.
As the Savant suggests, if we continue to exist in vacuums, unwilling to hear and listen to others while using logic and sound facts, then we are part of the problem. The Savant succeeds because it holds a mirror up to present-day American society, reflecting back to us who and where we are currently. The medium of television is so beautiful because through its storytelling capabilities, it's able to reach people across all walks of life and connect with varied perspectives, allowing us to continue hearing one another, even if we struggle to find common ground. Snatching relevant TV shows off of networks and streamers out of fear and cowardice is the antithesis of what companies should be doing during this terrifying period when American life and even the Constitution are under attack.
That's funny, because I remember reading some reviews for Terminalist Dark Wolf, which is the best show on television right now, saying that them talking about ISIS and Iran's nuclear problem was Islamophobic, despite the fact that plenty of the things they were talking about are based on actual things. So if you want to talk about, like, holding up a mirror to society, either show that things can happen in either direction or step off, because you're full of shit.
These hoes.
Look, I got out of line yesterday. I apologize.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.